The effects of the severe drought continue to push the limits of endurance for management and crew at Astarte Farm in Hadley, Massachusetts. If we are trying to farm without the benefits of the last 8 years of no-till operation, it might have pushed any of us to quit. In addition to the huge difference in our soil organic matter brought forth using no-till methods, our multiple applications of high-quality biochar have added to our soil's native water-holding capacity. With careful moisture management, our shallow well has been able to keep up with this year's high demand for irrigation. These direct-seeded crops are germinating strongly thanks to the movable overhead watering system that Ellen put in. It is true that evaporation makes this method somewhat less water efficient than our standard drip lines, but the rapid germination in these beds clearly shows the advantage of using gentle overhead watering in a year like this. Ellen recently shared a new nightmare phrase with me, weed seed rain, that describes one of our top current concerns. Once the weeds flower and start setting seed, their relentless progress leads to future infestations, and their pattering rain of seeds issues a quiet warning of problems for years to come. Speaking of weed problems, this area of Field 2 has been choked with perennial weeds and grasses and has an annual weed seed bank that seems almost limitless. Over the past 3 years, it has been incompletely solarized under clear plastic, silage tarped for entire seasons, and mulched heavily with cardboard and wood chips, and we have little progress to show for all that. This year's drought has only increased the difficulty in dealing with it effectively. An early attempt at spading up the whole area just multiplied the grass problem and brought fresh weed seed to the surface. Our first cover crop attempt of oats and peas was quickly swamped with weeds. The next attempt with buckwheat as a smother crop met a similar fate. By scalping the surface repeatedly with the flail mower, a third attempt has been made, again with buckwheat at double or even triple the standard seeding rate. This shot shows the density of redroot pigweed seedlings with their darker leaves, just overwhelming the buckwheat's lighter, heart-shaped leaves. When we get a little rain, we'll see if we are any closer to solving our problem. On a much brighter note, the shredded leaves and heavy straw mulch are working perfectly in the main season tomatoes. It would be wise to go in there and pull out the few rogue weeds poking through, just to eliminate their seed-producing potential. But late August is still so full of heavy harvest chores, careful succession plantings in the propagation house, and just routine farm maintenance that without some volunteer weeders from the CSA members, we may lose the substantial progress we've made in this patch. Back up in the red barn, it is gratifying to see the good harvest of shallots that were pulled from underneath a blanket of weeds. The garlic bulbs also look good and are drying down quickly in the dry heat of the barn. It is hard to remember that just last year, in the midst of continual rainfall, we were using every fan we could find to keep the garlic from molding. There have even been reports this year of farmers losing their garlic to the heat before they could be safely cured in the shade. And finally, one of the stars of our pollinator habitat program is the partridge pea. As the name suggests, it is in the legume family, and with its attendant beneficial bacteria root nodules, the partridge pea can pull free nitrogen right out of the air and convert it into the plant available form. Its yellow flowers are a great source of pollen, but more importantly in this drought year, it produces a tiny drop of liquid nectar at each leaf and stem junction. What looks like a tiny drop of nectar to us humans probably looks like a gallon-sized growler of nectar to a parasitic wasp or an endangered bee. Thanks for watching. Leave comments and questions below. Catch you next time.